Hello, my friends, and welcome in. I've got a club for you. We're not going to do the whole interview thing, but if this is what we can expect out of this club in our second game, let's just say the kids are going to be all right. Corner kick, boink, and hello, my friends, and welcome into a brand new Journeyman save on the Gray Hair Gaming channel. I've already got us here where we've got offers. I'm going to take you to those here in a second just to show you my very basic profile. I like to start with the National C on Journeyman saves. I find starting with no coaching badges whatsoever to be very dull because it means you end up with some amateur club and they don't want to pay for badges anyway, and it's hard to progress. That was my experience in previous versions of FM. This is actually the first Journeyman thing that I've done, and really the first full save I've done in FM24. So we've got a National C, we've got some offers on the table. This save I'm going to be giving you in episodes that are longer and in bigger chunks. So you're not having to say, well, here's 3 games, and here's 3 games, and here's three games. We're going to do it in much larger chunks, maybe a half season to a season at a time. I've already obviously selected a club, so let's go see who's got an offer for us. And are you really a football manager player if you don't have a spreadsheet for your game about managing a football club using spreadsheets? Come on. So I've got all the places that I applied that offered me interviews, that even offered me the job. We've gone from Japan to Greece to Belarus to Belgium. K Sint Ilus Winkel Sport. One of the things about this is doing larger episodes means all of the comments about how I'm pronouncing things are going to be significantly delayed. So bear with me as we learn and go. So a pretty wide range. We got declined by Newport City in Wales and Zodino's Yuzno in Belarus. But we've ended up with a couple different offers, which I'm going to show you in the game. The most recent offer we have is from Sandviks IK in the Division 2 Norrland, I believe, in Sweden, which is like the 4th division. It's like where you get the bottom of the pyramid gets really wide on a whopping 30 per week. I also play all in euros because it makes it easier no matter where you're in the world. Just have a consistent. My simple American brain can only handle one currency, so we just do it that way. We got an offer from Oxford's Sunnyside for nothing. If you're not familiar with Oxford Sunnyside, it's in the Northern Ireland. Loch 41 is that what it's called? Apollon Pontu, which is in the second division in Greece, on 300 a week with a 7k wage budget and no transfer budget, and then Kagoshima United on 975 per week with a 500,000 euro transfer budget and a 25,500 euro wage budget. It's one of those things when you go, what are you guys doing? I have a National C with no experience. I don't speak Japanese, and you're going to let me spend 500,000? Where do I sign? Let's go. So clearly we took that. You're going to give me that much money. That's crazy. Let's go. We're actually in 6th as we take over. When we interviewed, we were in 7th. This is technically the second day of employment at the club. We won our first game 1-0, and that has propelled us up to 6th place. But as you can see, it's pretty tight between 3rd to 9th, so it could just as easily, we could find ourselves dropping down closer to mid-table if we're not careful. But just as, if we do a right proper job, we could get up there towards 3rd. Board just expect us to get to top 5. We play in the Shiranami Stadium in Kagoshima, Japan. It does not look like this. It looks like this. We're on the southwest coast of Japan. Our stadium has a 4.1 rating. I don't know. I just think that's kind of funny that the stadium's got a rating. But if you zoom in here, we literally are pretty close to the coast. You can grab a little walking guy here. Oh, face the wrong direction. Yeah, it's what a lovely view, and the stadium's just down the road there. So this is what we call home. And as we take over, there are pretty clear staffing issues at the club. We don't have a scouting department. Not one. That's okay. It's only the transfer window opens in 5 days, and good luck improving the squad in the summer window when you're trying to get yourself up into the top 5. We had to make all sorts of changes. We actually had to call up one of the under 18 coaches, Yoon Marquez Davidson, who played for the Vancouver Whitecaps in 2012 and 2013, then the Carolina Rail Auction, the Charlotte Independence. I actually didn't realize that when I brought him up. It helps that he's fluent in English, though, and Japanese. kind of a nice guy to have around. 8, 7, and 8. So not exactly the best assistant coach, but at the at the J3 level, you take what you can get. We don't have any analysts of any kind. The coaches are a bit of a mixed bag. Again, no recruiting team, medical staff. I think we fired the head of sports science and then promoted one of the other scientists and posted another job. There's a lot of work to do. You can tell. Nothing in the recruitment team, and just a little bit in the sports science. We don't have any physios, which is just how does that happen? Is a question that you might ask coming in as the new manager. Like, hey, can I meet the physios? They're like, we got some sports scientists. You're like, yeah, but what about when somebody gets like injured on the pitch and they're like, nah, we don't got that. It's like what? And then goalkeeping coaching, not the best. And that's primarily because I'm mostly in charge right now because we don't have a goalkeeping coach. So that's a little less than ideal, you might say. The club have a history. Relatively recently, having been promoted up into the J2 league and then immediately relegated back down. Last season finished third, so there's clearly a decent squad, or there has been a decent enough squad. We're currently 6th place. Last season finished third. Is it one of those things where you just got to be getting the right couple results to go your way to get into that top 2 to get automatically promoted? We're going to find out. As you might expect in the 3rd division, our training facilities, youth facilities, and youth recruitment are all basic, which means essentially they don't exist. And then the academy coaching is fairly basic, which is, I guess, a step up. Like someone's read a PDF on coaching is essentially what that means. And if you didn't see it there, we play for some reason in a 19,000 seat stadium. Who's going to help us get to that next level? Well, apparently not our basic youth recruitment, because I have a question for you. Again, this is my first real save on FM24. What is worse than a below average intake in the game? Because one of everything except no just midfielders, and then 4 DMs and 3 center backs, all at the E to F level. That's below average? That there's got to be something worse than that, right? Like clearly, I think that's being kind. Considering that the transfer window is about to open and we don't have anybody that does recruiting at the club, it's kind of important to kind of understand what we're looking at in terms of who we can bring in, how many players we can bring in, all that kind of stuff. So first important thing is you get 5 subs from 3 stoppages from a total of 7 names, so 18 in a match day squad. Under 21 players are automatically eligible. You don't need to register them. That's probably going to be good, assuming we have youth players. But the match squad must have no more than 4 foreign players. So that 500,000 euro budget we've got, we're going to have to find a way to spend that probably in Japan. We'll take a look at the squad here in a minute. I want to show you how I assess squads, but you only get 4 spots for foreign players. Again, the transfer window is July 21st to August 18th. And then obviously for the next season, kind of the summer window in between seasons is January 6th to March 31st or somewhere thereabouts. Important, consider you can only have 4 foreign players, is Thailand, Vietnam, Myanmar, Cambodia, Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia are all considered to be non-foreign. So if we can find a scout to come join us and they're not afraid of leaving the country, then we can go look in Southeast Asia for players. So how I assess squads when I first take over a club is, this is not a Premier League save, and even if it was, you can't just come in and kick out 18 players. Ask Manchester United, right? Like you got to kind of find a way to deal with what you got. So at this level in particular, what do we have? We don't have any scouts. We don't know who could potentially come in. We're probably going to have to rely a lot on trialists. So let's take a look. I always look at their mental, their physical, and their technical abilities as a squad before I even look at, ooh, that's the best player. Because a lot of times you can't trust who your staff says is the best player because they're iffy too. So if you are not new around here, you know that I love a really strongly determined squad. Not a lot going on in the determination aspect for this squad. But the work rate is pretty decent anticipation. I like that even though we're not determined, our decisions are average and our composure is okay. And then if we just switch it down here, we go to the attributes. let's go look at the technical skills. We're pretty technical. We can tackle decently. No one can take a penalty. No double digit. Okay, we got one double digit penalty taker, I guess. Passing is all right. Headers are pretty good. First touch, nobody can finish, not even the strikers. And dribbling is all right. You'll notice corners and crosses, not very good either. That will dictate a bit of the tactic we end up going with. And then physically, we can accelerate really, really well to a pretty not good pace. So we can get there fast though. So what that tells me, this is one of the first things I actually look at is the physical. Can we accelerate and have pace? If the answer to that question is no, then we can't play counterattacking. Because if you don't have the pace, again, the acceleration, you might argue you could get away with that. But when I see a low pace squad, again, this is on average. You've got one player who's really physical, Kazuki Chibu. He's going to be our DM. I'll show that to you here in a second. But you kind of go like, that doesn't seem the best. And the other thing you should know about me, if you're not new, or if you are new around here, I should say, is I don't just go download tactics. This is how I like to play the game, a bit more narrative versus well, if I put this exact set piece routine in, or this corner routine will score 40 goals. I think that's kind of boring. I don't even like to do the set piece coaching. I'd rather have a set piece coach and delegate that to somebody. So this is how I look at this. Natural fitness is pretty high. So you could play gegenpressing. I don't want to do that. I've done a lot of gegenpressing in my time. So all of this to me dictates we've got a squad with decent natural fit, or pretty good natural fitness, I should say. Not a lot of pace, decent strength. And then again, if we go back to like our technical capabilities here, pretty good passing, pretty good first touch, and to be fair, dribbling. And to me, that says tiki-taka. Now you're going, what is this formation that you have crafted, GHG? It is a 4-3-3 asymmetric. I guess the game is calling it a 4-1-3-2 DM asymmetric, but it's a 4-3-3 asymmetric. The reason for that is because we have our best player is a complete wingback on the left side, and that is Atsuki Satsukawa. I'm just going to apologize in advance for all of the mispronunciations that are going to be happening in this episode, because by the time we get to the next episode, I'll have played like an entire season and probably made some errors. So Atsuki here is kind of an all-rounder on the wing, but his strongest foot is his left foot. He knows the complete wing back, and we don't really have anybody that can play on the left wing effectively. So we're going to try and maximize our best player, whose contract is up in 6 months. More on that later. So he's out because he's got a hamstring strain for 2-3 weeks. But that's the idea. Is like, give him all the space, and then we're going to pass it around. We're not going to be fast at it. Our decisions are going to be all right. Our passing's going to be all right. And I'm kind of hoping at the 3rd division level, they've never seen tiki-taka. Here comes an American, gray hair gaming. What is this new style he's playing? And we're just going to pass it into the back of the net. That's the idea. We'll see how it goes. So let's take a look at some of our best players. We're going to start again. Satsukawa. I will get it right eventually. 12 crossing, 11 dribbling, 10 passing, technique. Not as great off the ball, but really considering our level, he's pretty good. Really great acceleration. And for our team, at 11 on pace, he is lightning fast. And I'm kind of hoping, since we finished 3rd last season and we're mid-table already, that acceleration and pace and those capabilities on the left wing by himself will do just fine. Now you'll notice one thing up here, and this is going to be a very common theme that you're going to see with our entire squad here at Kagoshima, is that dreads playing in big matches or doesn't feel comfortable playing in big matches. Those types of things are what we're going to see a lot of. Okay, it's not going to go straight down. Yamamoto is our second best player. He's a striker who can't finish. He's got a 9. Not only does he not enjoy playing in big matches, he's a very inconsistent performer, and he's fairly susceptible to injuries. But he's 3.5 star, he's leading for our level, and he's got a whopping 3 goals in 16 starts and 2 subs on a 6.83. Shuntaro Kawabe is a striker. I kind of think more of like an inside forward, if you put it this way. He's got better dribbling than he does have anything in the striking standpoint. He's a poacher with 8 finishing. The less said about that, the better. We have Issei Tone who's a center back, who at our level at 5'11", right-footed center back, pretty strong. Again, my eyes go, gosh, look at the physical stats. That's not very good. 3 determination. But like when you actually look at the things, if we put him in a ball-playing defender, because we're going to be playing tiki-taka, he's not bad. He's not played much, which is a really curious choice by the previous manager to have 3 starts, 1 sub on a 6.5. I think he's like our best center back, so maybe there's something that I'm not seeing. He's pretty close to Okamoto. Here we go. Who, again, looks fairly similar. Who's a 6'8", has 18 starts, has started every game this season that the club has had. And then we'll show you Chibu, who is that DM that we're going to be playing. Again, from a ball-winning midfielder, defend, not very aggressive, marking and tackling are poor, but maybe makes up for it with all the physicality and can chase people down when he mismarks them. That's kind of what we're going for here. And then, last but not least, you've got Frankie Romero. And Frankie is 36, about to be 37 years old, which is just fantastic. You'd think he'd be more determined to still be playing at that age. He's not. He also doesn't enjoy big matches. Again, I'm not going to point this out every single time, but it's a theme, you might say, my friends. Kind of looks to be one of those players that maybe started out on like the right wing and then has kind of, as he's gotten older, has kind of moved back into that midfield. But he's like that midfield general, just doesn't have the determination, but he's got the teamwork and some of the leadership. But he's all right for our level. He can pass, he can tackle, and we're going to play him in that Carrilero spot. I was wrong. There's one more. It's Masayoshi Endo, who is going to be our right winger. Again, you could argue he could play on the left wing, but he's strongest on his right foot. We have a player on the back left that can play really strongly up and down there as that complete wing back. So we're going to use him on the right side because the right wing back, fullback spot is not as strong for us. Good acceleration, actually decent crossing and dribbling, first touch, passing. All around, not bad, and a whopping 11 determination. He's got 4 starts, 3 subs on a 7.2, so really hasn't been utilized as much, which is, again, kind of curious when you look at, well, you guys just played a 4-4-2, but and again, like if it was 4-4-2 with just a midfield right, maybe that's why, but like, he's a good player. We'll see where he takes us. So I showed this to you at the beginning part of the episode, but this is our second game. We went up 1-0. We conceded 2 goals, including a penalty. And this is in the 76th minute. Nakahara, who's one of our older players, pings it across, flicks up. Romero, 36-year-old Romero, smacks it home. Who says we're not determined? Get in. We'll take the draw. On the train ride home from that draw, we whip out some contracts and start trying to extend the contracts of our best players since there's 6 months until the end of the season. We want to solidify what we've got, and then in the winter transfer window, go out to the market and find some better players. And we take Satsukawa, and we get an extension, although he does take a 230,000 euro minimum fee release clause for clubs in the higher division in Japan. And then if we don't get promoted, a 170,000 euro non-promotion release clause. Also wants to match the highest earner clause, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever had a player in my history of FM do that. And he's on 2,900 a week. But I thought he was critical. He is that left wing back. We needed that spot kind of locked down because the other options are a couple steps down on both fullback spots. So he extends his time until the end of next season, or till 2025, the end of 2025. Unless someone comes and poaches him. Results continue to go our way as we build up our scouting department and start quickly sending them out. We're also hitting up the trialist route and having players come in that are currently free agents that don't have a club, because genuinely we didn't have enough time to send scouts out and actually do even a half decent job with the scouts that we can find to see what we could bring in. But in the meantime, the squad is becoming much more capable in the tiki-taka style that we've implemented. We follow up our 2-2 draw with Ehime FC, which was that second game, with a 3-1 win, a resounding victory over Toyama. Then we draw with a late own goal to Miyazaki away from home. And by that point, we've got some players that we're lining up to reinforce our ranks. The first of which is 31, almost 32-year-old Rentaro Yajima, who comes to us actually as a free agent from Germany. He played for Berliner AK in the RL Nordost, but has previous experience in Austria in the second league. Half decent. Our level, he is a 4-star, potential to be a J2 league player above. Get that spine sorted out. He could play the 10, he could play in midfield, he could play the DM, and in a pinch, he can play emergency center back. But again, like most of our players, he dreads playing in big matches, despite having 16 determination. So he doesn't get down in those matches. He just doesn't feel comfortable the entire time. But overall, we're going to play him as a deep line playmaker in that tiki-taka style, because that's what's going to best utilize that first touch, that technique. He doesn't have as much of the physicality as the Carolero, so we're going to use him in that deep line playmaker. He also knows it. So he shows up on August 14th and immediately slots into the midfield. A few days later, we pick up Shogo Sasaki, a center back slash left wing back, but not left back situation, because we needed depth. He's left-footed. I like that in a center back. You don't find a lot of those. 3-star with the potential to come with us if we get promoted. He takes a contract, a 2-year deal until December of 2025. But overall, a pretty decent player, and we needed depth at that center back spot. Also, he doesn't have the thing where he hates a big match, so we'll take it. A mere 6 days after joining us, Yamiga finds himself starting in the midfield against Matsumoto Yamaga, who are currently in dead last. Like, they are fighting for their lives. It is the first minute of the game. Let's see, where is he? I'm happy about Yajima. Comes in, ball over, Hoshi, Okamoto, for some reason decides to try and head it back, and Tanaka pounces on it, does the pat your head and rub your tummy type situation. That's the first minute of the game against last place. We're at home. Dismal showing. All the way forward now, it's the 73rd minute. Endo bombs down the wing. Yajima is hanging out in the middle of the park. It comes off. The keeper fluffs his lines, and Yajima is there, pulls out the Mo, because the Mo Sali was doing the arrow thing, and we come away with a critical draw, because I was sitting there, you can't lose to last place when you're trying to make a drive up the table. Our form continues to improve. We get a close 1-0 win over Kitakyushu, with Endo slotting home a goal. We smash 3-0 FC Gifu with a goal in the 4th minute, the 31st minute, and the 48th minute. We then have a disappointing loss in front of 2,600 people against Sagamihara, until we find ourselves taking on relegation battling Sanuki, who are struggling and clawing to stay out of the bottom of the table. So Hoshi has come in to play that left complete wingback. Suzuki's there, plays it back to our DM, who just rifles it home from, what is that, 24 yards? Something like that. But 3 minutes later, on the counterattack, they slice through us like a hot knife through butter, and I'm having flashbacks to the team that it took until the 73rd minute to draw. We hop forward, it's the 55th minute. Play it over to 37-year-old now, Romero, or 36 still. Endo smacks it home. I want to talk to you about Endo. Endo has become one of those players in a pretty short period of time where you go this kid wants it. Here he is again, crosses it over. Yajima comes forward. Yamamoto, who is very inconsistent. I don't know if that was a dummy. We're going to give him the credit for the dummy. And Yajima smacks it home. A 3-1 resounding victory. Look at the pass map. Look at getting down the wing. Again, it shows that we ended up as a 4-1-1-3-1. That was due to a lack of subs and kind of needing to kind of rotate some players around. Or maybe it was the previous game and then we had to leave it that way because of suspensions and stuff like that. So it's been a little interesting, I guess. In the very next game, Endo, a week later, is going to score here for us against Ihim FC. Sorry if that's wrong. Just beats his man, through ball, slots at home. A nice 1-0 victory. I mean, could have been a little bit nicer. We scored more than once. We had 8 shots to their 7. Clear-cut chances. They actually created more than we did. But the possession, tiki-taka-ing the J3 to death is essentially what's happening here. 73% possession. And our passes completed 93%. It's been like that most of the season. As you can see, we're back to our 4-3-3 asymmetric. Freaking love it. This game is against Osaka, which is a 8th to 10th mid-table type team. The game in between was against Yokohama, who is another one of those like trying to stay out of the relegation spot. And we lost 2-0. One of those probably rotated a bit too much, but we needed a rest. We come into this game, we'll pick it up here. That is us and Indo. What? Let's just pause what just happened here. What is the keeper doing? What is the keeper doing? Was there at the post, caught it, and then just like basketball dropped it over the line. No complaints. We take an early lead. 13th minute, Indo gives it up, goes back to the keeper, falls to Yajima, plays it back to Indo. Bang. Side netting. I think I'm falling in love. About 20 minutes later, Kiyomoto on the break beats his man, and then we just is 2-on-2, and we decide not to cover a tall player who heads it home. Right before the halftime break, or no, maybe it's right after the halftime break, we play it forward, and then Kawabe, I love a goal like that, where it goes up, and you're like, how has he missed the target? Oh, he didn't miss the target. He hit the underside of the bar, and it's dung, 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 and it like bounces like several times. Freaking love it. 64th minute, hopping forward, corner kick for them. We cannot control it. They come back and score a second goal, but it is not enough. We get the victory. Again, from a clear-cut chances standpoint, we create 3, they create 2. Could have been a little bit more comfortable, but this is, I think it's showing progress for us as a club. We do have, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. This is what I ran with. We got complete forward. No one knows complete forward at the J3 level, but we're playing it anyway because that's what the tactic was when I first said it, and that's kind of how that's how we're gonna roll. I'm sure it's fine. The run of results continues to go exceptionally well, and we only lose 2 games since I take over in the middle of July. So, hopping down to where you last saw us, we get a 3-0 win after that, a 1-1 draw against Awate. Frankie scores a goal and a 2-0 win. Both goals coming in the first half against Fukushima. We draw against Nara Indo, again getting on the score sheet. A 4-2 victory, a 2-2 draw, and then a 5-0 drumming of Numazu. Indo again getting on the score sheet. At this point, I have picked up my National B, which is probably good considering all of my staff have got continental licenses at this point. But my friends, we head into the last game of the season in 4th. We've met our board's objective. We have finished in the top 5. We cannot finish outside of the top 5. But you'll notice there, we are 1 point away from automatic promotion in 2nd place. Of course, there's another club also on the same points tally, and really, Mbari below us, I guess they've got the same goal difference as FC Gifu. So, like, there's about 4 clubs that are vying for that 2nd place spot, and we're one of them. We're 1 point away. Can we get it done? I think we must have surprised Football Manager because we didn't get one of those graphics that shows like the top 3 or 4 and like the run-in of games where, hey, you have a chance of getting promoted. It's like, oh, shoot. Well, it's too late for that. Let's see how the last day goes. We are taking on last place Totori. We're on 32 points, so they're not out. If they win, they have a chance to jump up to 18th and get out of the relegation zone and even potentially the relegation playoff. Let's take a look at Iwate, who are currently 3 points behind. They take on Sanuki, who is in that 19th spot, so they know they're not safe, and they're playing first in the table. And FC Gifu plays Kitakyushu, who are also in the mix. They are in 3rd place. So it is quite the mixed bag here, heading into the last game of the season. And let's just say Mbari, let's see how they might come out. They take on Numazu, who are in 11th. This is how we line up. We have Kawabe in the poacher role, Yamamoto, who again doesn't know the center forward role, but is finishing so bad I'm not going to make him a poacher. And he's more capable than Kawabe. Indo at that right wing spot. I just want to show you again. I've fallen in love. Indo, look at this little graph of his form. Remember I said he only played like 4 games? He's got 10 goals and 10 assists on a 7.19 xG on a 7.41. We have found ourselves a lovely little nugget, I think is what we would say there. Yajima in the deep line playmaker role, Romero at the Carrilero, and Chibu as the DM. I'd started to say, man, I haven't seen these green lines all season. I know it takes a while, and I took over mid-season, but we finally have the green line showing up. We've got a partnership, and then these guys don't really like each other. Sasaki and Okamoto, and then Satsukawa, get it out right, GHG, and Kide again on the right-hand side. Our goalkeeper, Ouchie, maybe, again, you might go, why are you playing him in a sweeper keeper role? But at this level, does it really matter? He's conceded 34. He's got 13 clean sheets throughout the season on 37. But he's got a 6.94. He's playing average for us. But it's against last place. What could go wrong? We join in the 4th minute. We got a set piece here. Yajima taps it forward to Endo. We're doing key highlights here. So it's not just goals. We'll see what happens. Romero. Okamoto plays back there. Spread out, guys. Spread out. Endo drives forward. Takes a touch. Almost takes it too far. Passes it back. Passes forward. Now we are scrambling to get back. We get back because they slowed it down for some reason. Plays a long ball forward to nobody. I'm never going to get that right. Satsukawa comes down. Tries to get to Kawabe. We win it again. Yajima to Romero. Endo again in space. Looking for support. He's got a drop. He doesn't take it, though. It is dropped by Aoka. The keeper fluffs his lines, is probably the better way of saying that. And we tap it in for an early 1-0 lead. Now it's the 30th minute. And we give up quite the fast highlight for a headed goal over Kide by Kamura. It's 1-1, and you start going, oh. Not like this, boys. Not like this. Sasaki plays it forward. It's the 39th minute. We're building. So this is our passing. We're not using our pace a lot, but we got decent decisions. Okay, can we hold them off? We're strong. Endo plays it forward. A little ambitious to Yamamoto, who can't get to it. It's cleared. Comes back to Okamoto. Draws the defense a little bit. Plays it to old man Romero. Good old Frankie. Out wide. Lots of space, but we're going to cut inside. Plays the ball forward to Kawabe. He thinks about dropping it, but decides to cross it in. Yamamoto heads it down just wide. Just wide. I know that's not to do with his finishing, but, you know, kind of think about it. We get into the second half. 52nd minute. It's 1-1. We go to the halftime. Come on, lads. We got to get this done. We're not watching the other games because genuinely it doesn't matter. If we don't come back, it's 1-1. A ball forward. And talk about fluffing your lines, my friends. Should have been on target. Probably is a tap-in type goal. Put it anywhere into the one of the sides and it's in. But we'll take it. Just the turn of the 55th minute, or 54:06 on the clock now. Endo slows down. I thought he was injured. Plays it out wide. Look at all the space. Can he get to the end line? He's got the armband. Swings it cross in. Flicked on. They didn't know. They didn't communicate what was behind him. Endo collects it. Romero, top of the box. I was screaming top of the box here. Yajima. Romero says, I got it, lads. I got it. Does the, what is that? I don't know, the Hulk Hogan? You can't see my arms when I've got it in a little circle like this. We might have to make some adjustments. We're up 2-1, 64th minute. Endo on the right. Again, it's kind of like, we want to score. Goal difference could matter here. I actually don't remember if it could matter or not. But we take an easy shot. Keeper's there. 83rd minute. Just misses. Kind of a gimme. Not really, but I know corner headers are hard. But 89th minute. We're a little bit of time wasting here. Yajima, with all of his wisdom, 16 determination. Yeah. We're just gonna short ball. Nakahara passes it into the back of the net. We find the back line asleep. It is a 3-1 lead in the 89th minute. He does a little ditty. Who doesn't love a little ditty? And that's how it ends, my friends. 3-1. But was it enough? No. We fall 1 point short in 3rd place. Gifu actually win the title. They hop over Owate. I'll show you how that happened. They beat, I think it was at the time, 4th place Kitakushu 4-0. A resounding, like, we are going up, lads type victory. Owate with the draw against Sanuki, but it does not cost them I'm kind of curious. I did not look at this. They get an own goal in the 59th minute, and Sanuki scored in the 49th minute. Okay, so it was into the second half, and you're thinking as a Wate, oh no, because by that point it's pretty close to us being ahead in our game. But we are 1 point shy of promotion, despite only losing 2 games in half of the season. And then you start thinking as the manager, what if? What if we hadn't been blown out by Yokohama, who did they finish? Okay, they end up in 16th, but like we're clearly better than them. Um, or one of these draws goes our way, but it is not enough. Genuinely thinking though, that's probably okay. It gives us time. We now have a scouting department. I'll show you that. Well, I should say we have a chief scout and a scout. Not extensive, and like 9 judging player ability at this level. I just want to, I don't know if you know anything about their potential. I just want to know if you know anything about their ability. You don't really have to be adaptable because you're not going anywhere because we can't afford to send you anywhere. So this is our chief scout. Just have a moment for that. And then we get a super adaptable scout who also can't really tell if a player is good or not, but at least we can send them out to get a general idea, to get some attributes, and then I can take the call as to whether it's a good idea or not. Also has a Continental C. Get in. So you can see we've kind of rebuilt the squad. But I think it's probably, as we learn this tactic, going over to the tactics screen, we're super familiar now. And now we've had 6 months to assess the squad. Now we can go, where do we need to make some changes? And here's my thoughts on that. First, our squad is older, which is curious because the board's vision that they are devastated, even though we finished 1 point off promotion in third, is sign players under the age of 23 for the first team. We have a 37-year-old midfielder. I did pick up Yajima. That one's on me. He's 31. Hirose is a 32-year-old center back. Hoshi is a 32-year-old James Milner. Nakahara is 34. He slotted home that pass there at the end. He looks as surprised as I did on the sideline. We have a 37-year-old Yuji Kimura, who again is kind of an all-arounder. We have a 30. Okay, that's all. That's a trialist that's trying to find. Look at that. He's 35 years old. Okay, debatable 4-star. Our staff thinks 4-star. Our scouts are not sure, but kind of an attacking third player that we brought in on trial, not on loan. 35-year-old Fujimoto. Maybe bringing in me as the manager is where the board said we are clearly too old, so that's where the signed players under the age of 23 comes in. I think 23 is a tad aggressive. We could argue like 27 would be good because at this level, 20 and 19-year-old players are not very good and they need time to bake in the oven. So the first thing that I'm concerned about is we're old and you're going to start seeing those like red and orange. Let's see, from your perspective, look at my camera. Is it this way? Yes, going this way. Arrows on their attributes. So we don't want that. But the other thing that stands out to me, just when you look at this way, we say we're going to play in a 4-3-3 asymmetric because that's working, clearly. We have Satsukawa, got it right, locked up until the end of 2025. So I'm comfortable with that complete wingback. We don't really have a lot of rotation options there. I mean, Hoshi can play there, but he's 2.5 stars. It's the lack of depth. So my priorities heading into our first real transfer window, kind of a rebuild transfer window, are to find some younger players that are not going to fall apart next season, to get someone with double-digit finishing that can play in a striker role, and generally depth with quality. Now, that might mean our starting players become that depth, and the people we bring in become the new starters. We're not sure, but there's clearly some stuff to clear out here. If you just go look at the ability, we've got some guys. I mean, 2-star, not very high potential ability. You've got a 37-year-old. We've got to do a bit of a clean out to show you our finances. We end the season, not the end of the season. This is right after the game, with about 1.1 million in the bank. We're a bit overcommitted on the spending right now. We'll show that to you next episode, but we don't have any transfer budget to spend because we've kind of dumped it into, we couldn't pay transfer fees. We needed to go find some players. So we bring those players in on trial and then we signed them. But overall, I think a pretty successful first half season or first season, if you want to call it that. And my friends, that's where we are going to leave it at today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm a little rusty. It has taken me quite a while to kind of cobble this together, so hopefully you don't see too rough of an edit jump in between. I'm working on this new style. I'm used to more of a play-by-play as we go through game. So kind of trying to tell the overarching story of the season is different for me. So I would really appreciate your feedback in the comments. Again, make sure you hit that like button. And if you are new around here and enjoy FM content or rants about US soccer coming soon, hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified the next time I post a video. These take a little bit longer to put together, so I'm not going to try and put a timeline on it. Might be a couple days, might be up to a week before season 2, or at least maybe the first 6 months of season 2, are out and in your feeds. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.